I am human. That's a bold statement. I was born in the land of Portugal, but I define myself as human who wants to understand, to be free, because I do not want to belong to any box. I'm speaking in English so that my communication approach more people. And that's why I'm using this device, so I can communicate. I've learned and understand that love is the answer. And that's what I want to tell all of you. Now, learn and understanding are two different things. So I gather information and I understand the meanings, but that's the surface. Through experiences, you will understand. Open yourself to thinking, to imagination, and to madness. Combine to your best blend so you can make sense of your life. Understand the material world, understand the spiritual world. They are intertwined, interconnected. So we are a soul having a human experience. We are in the dimension of time and matter and space. We are part of the universe. The universe is in us. Now, how do we proceed from here? Because we built virtual realities in a way that constrain us. But that's the game, you see. Somewhere in time, you will understand that each one of us make our own reality. And when you see that, you will try to be free. Free from the social constructions, the culture. Free from the culture, the same culture that I'm grateful because it allowed me to get where I am. And so I honor, or I just say that the culture helped me to find the road to freedom. Time is the moving image of eternity, said Plato. Our soul knows what life should take or reincarnate to elevate our consciousness so that we understand what is eternity. And for me, it's the place where all information is available at the blink of our consciousness. There is only the eternal now. But in this dimension, we watch the unfolding of the nature. Animals, plants, fungus, the elements, in material and spiritual beings. The nature is born, develops, and die. Everything from the ground to human beings, everything is living. And in our higher form, we can make this sense. And that gave me the tools to understand that love is the answer. Now, all that unfolding is in the human perspective so that we have this human experience through thinking, imagination, and madness. We can see the beauty that nature is and that our life makes sense. Our actions will reflect our freedom. And love is freedom. I learn and I understand that I have to control my emotions in order so that the emotions don't control me. And then we have the ego. Understand that the ego is here so that we know ourselves. To reach, to grasp unconditional love is to touch freedom. And we get the sense that we are. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next time. Hello, I am human. The only control that we have is ourselves. We can try to influence outcomes in life, but that might comes with a price. But we talk about that later. Life will give you all the lessons that you need to learn and evolve. Educate ourselves. All the frustrations and all the injustices are here for us to learn and evolve. See, that each one of us have to find our path that is different from everybody else. Freedom from fear, to educate our emotions. Spiritualism is when two people meet and they have a nice, meaningful conversation. That is a practice of spiritualism. I will truly understand when I'm truly practicing. So if one recognizes that spiritualism is a part of the nature that we live, one can understand that there's a higher force of any kind, but still we are presented with the notion that we are part of the cosmos. Do you think it's worthwhile to control your emotions and enjoy the ride? If so, welcome. Now we recognize the work, the labor into hands. My experience told me that we learn every day, that when the bliss came, I discovered that love is the answer. So I'm putting that into practice. To practice spiritualism is a way of life. You learn to heal, you learn to release from fear, and so all the good emotions can flourish. You don't recriminate yourself for having emotional crises. You accept and learn. Then understand. Then you find your way into life. Now, what is the price of forcing outcomes? You will go against nature. Bad emotions will arise. It will be you against nature. And nothing lasts. We don't carry material with us when we leave this dimension. We carry our emotions. If we understand, then we must carry love to another dimension. The outcome of competition, we have tremendous forces against ourselves for not showing our true nature, which is shrouded in negative emotions. Fear arises, and that's when we start learning. It is what it is. Acceptance and cooperation with intelligence, imagination, and madness. Do not force an event. Let it flow. Ride with the flow. Change the lifestyle. The universe changes. Accept the changes in you, like you accept the changes of the universe. Day, night, a clear sky, rain, Start choosing your things. Select what you hear, what you think, what makes sense. Select what you eat, what you drink, smoke. Pay attention to your mind and body. The goal is to be in peace with you and with everybody. The culture says, pay attention here, pay attention there. All you do is chasing someone else's dream. When do you pay attention to your dream? If you don't, you are not experiencing your true self. At the end, it's up to ourselves. Take responsibility for your actions. Humility, be humble. Pay attention to you, to nature. Practice action after action. Observe the improvement. Question everything and then start drawing some conclusions to move forward, because we have to evolve. Thank you for listening. See you next time. Hello, I am human. The fear is to be managed. We live in a state of permanent fear. How do we live like this? Well, our culture put us on a path, provides a wide range of hangouts, things to cling. Culture is the collectivized consensus about what sort of neurotic behavior are acceptable. Terence McKenna said, when does fear arise? The fear of the other, the fear of nature. I would say that it came when mankind started to, or tried to, tame nature, start to complexify societies, hierarchies, and structural tasks. The fear arises because we have material that we want for ourselves away from the others, because we have a lineage to protect, because we have an ego. What lies ahead of us is that somewhere in time we are going to be confronted with our abysses. The geographical abyss. Are we alone? Is there other dimensions? The historical abyss. When we have the cultural constraint, we are confronted with the boundaries of our freedom. The physical abyss, because we die. Our physical body dies. Do we have a soul that goes on? We don't have a soul, and that's the end? We have these questions and others. And the mental abyss. How do we deal with our mind? How do we make sense and move on? So we manage the fear, and we search for help to deal with the fear. And we look outside of us, and we placed in desires. The desire of knowledge, the desire of material, or the emotional desire. Can we look inside of us to know ourselves? Who are we? The frustration, the anger, the anxiety, all the disrupted behavior that we see and we imitate, we mime. We feel that we ought to, that we have the responsibility. And the virtual reality that is the culture says what we have to do. And we also feel trapped. Accept and act. Now, what I learn, and I'm making it understandable to me, with all the philosophy that I read, I think for myself with all the knowledge that I have. And after all, that's what we all do. So, everybody's right. In a higher sense, I will not judge anyone. I'm not piercing. I'm going with the wave, like in the Buddhism Zen. We manage the fear because throughout life we deal with dualism. There's day and night, cold and hot, beautiful and ugly, high and low, good and bad, right and wrong. Are you constrained by the culture? Or do you know that we are a singularity in the cosmic unity? Can we make sense of paradoxes? Everything is one thing, is the universe. And we are all individuals presented in this higher form, like a fruit from the tree. And to do what? Life is not to take it seriously. Learn and understand. Practice the knowledge. Nothing lasts. Give power away so the universe, in its balanced way, will give you the power that you need. Thank you for listening. See you next time. Hello, I am human. The materialism, as seen by the Buddhism Zen, teaches that not to be a slave of material. Material as such, it's a wonderful thing. It's how we use it. With a knife, we can slice a bread or we can kill. Materialism is an idea, a picture in the mind. We get fascinated. Do not be a slave of material. Now, this is what it's like to be human. We certainly cling to something. Otherwise, we would be a stone Buddha, lack of emotions. We idolize material. We are consumers. Our understanding of material is very slim, consumed by our ego. We start wars over material. To understand, it is to let go. Spiritualism, I call it this word to identify the other dimensions, all that we cannot see, hear, touch in our human condition. We can make a symbiotic relation with some plants and fungus, and we can perceive the cosmos because our spectrum of senses increases. So we have the material and the spiritual. The universe is dual. Life is dual. Now, when we feel that we are not whole without the obtain of goals or possessions that the culture imposes, because the society glorifies achievement and success of what sort of neurotic success and achievement that society believes. Okay. The balance resides in the spiritual. The meaning of life is just to be alive, Alan Watts said. Align with the universe. Surrender to the flow of life. We must have a deeper appreciation of the present moment. Fulfillment is not goals, but the act of fully engage in the present moment. The immediate experience of the present moment. To feel the present. It seems to me that to have peace of mind, we need to equilibrate the material world and the spiritual world. so that our material quest be a meaningfully one. I can see the balanced universe that we are part, and at the same time, we are, like everything is, the whole universe. So, in that sense, all is balanced. All that happens is balanced. All our actions are balanced. When we remove or add something, let's say, when we cast some pesticides, that will affect the balance of that area. The balance of the universe will occur somehow elsewhere, because the universe is harmonious. And so, there is a meaning here. Regarding our lives, that we can discover our balanced life. Our actions and behaviors are a reflection of our harmony. In other words, if we pay attention to our life, if we learn from what is happening, when the student is ready, the teacher will come. That is, if you want to understand, the things will appear. Understand to play in the material and spiritual worlds. Thank you for listening. See you next time. Hello, I am human. We all live in ever-changing states of mind. We are guided to look for something. Our mind always changing, receiving external stimulus, and so we grab what we can take. All we can eat, drink, smoke. So some of us like to get intoxicated, to get high, to experience, to see life wiggling. And some of us who take psychoactives, psychedelics, try to make sense of it. What's going on? In my experience, I consume some heroin and a lot of alcohol, and I regard them as not good intoxicants. They inflate the ego, they consume you. Now, cannabis, it's a good psychoactive. It puts us in a relaxed state, and in my case, it helps me to think. Since immemorable times that intoxicants, psychoactives, are consumed by humans. The first religion, shamanism, there was a current use of intoxicants by some shamans across various places. So the LSD, in 1943, Albert Hofmann synthesized LSD for the second time. It's a powerful hallucinogenic. The visuals are incredible, but it's very much mental challenging. It dissolves boundaries. It opens your eyes to a greater visual spectrum where there is light and form and movement. We process the feelings and we feel unite with the universe. MDMA, that's another psychoactive substance that bring us to a state of love and freedom. So educate ourselves through information and experience, so we can, if we choose so, to experience the most powerful one, DMT. DMT psilocybin, mescaline from the peyote, we find them in nature. For us to be in a symbiotic, challenging, profoundly transforming hyperspace experience. These experiences are consciousness expanding. And so we think about them. What is happening? It's a straightforward, helpful substances that put us in a state of awareness of ourselves and the outer selves and the fabric of the cosmos. Levels of connecting in one's mind. There are other ways like meditation, fasting, physical exercises, but when we consume psychedelics, we really go somewhere much faster. Now, what is somewhere that we get? What is happening? Well, it's always a personal experience. To be in touch with our mind and vision and physical sensations, we pass through all these experiences. They are enlightened ways to know ourselves, the freedom of experience, the nature, the freedom to experience one's mind. That's a human quest. Someone said, that's the only game in town. And it makes sense to me, to experience one's mind. Thank you for listening. See you next time. Hello, I am human. The Tao that can be spoken, it's not the real Tao. When all the world knows beauty to be beautiful, there is already ugliness. When all the world knows goodness to be good, there is already evil. Thus, to be or not to be arise mutually. Lao Tzu wrote in the book Tao Te Ching this knowledge. The Tao is the basis of everything that goes on. The yin and yang, the female and the male, the negative and the positive, the moon and the sun, the evil and the good. They arise mutually. There isn't one without the other. Someone that lived around the 5th century BC had this insight. And also, we as humans right now still trying to understand what's going on. The abysms that we face can be presented by the geographical abyss. We live in this place, and we don't find in other parts of the cosmos other beings similar to us. The feeling of loneliness is inconceivable because of the mystery of life. We want to contact other beings so we can ask them what they think life is. Is there another dimension? And we go so far away. We go to the atom. We go to the quantum physics. That's when things get funny. And the mystery is still there. By the historical abyss, mankind fall into history. We fall in worshipping. Culture arise. We created a virtual reality. And above us, the end of times. More so now, because we have the capability to destroy ourselves. We are in a more rapidly historical event. Novelty is increasing its wave. The past 20 years were more transformative than the previous 200 years. I'm just making a point about the years, not in a scientific way. Or could it be that after all these wars that unleashed all the misery in all of us, could it be that it's for us to expand our consciousness? By the physical abyss, this on and off. Now we are here and now we don't. When our physical body dies. But because we live 80, 100 years, we get attached to our body. All life is a on and off. The universe is a harmonious construction. When we came out to the world to be part of this melodious structure, now we play, as determined later, we're off. But then we see that we cannot live without our body. So we look into the abyss. You can't have something without nothing. Alan Watts. And by the mental abyss, who am I ultimately? We live in a society with a culture that build a set of rules, lay down the tracks of acceptance that we follow out of fear. The curious ones, we try to grasp freedom, to go besides the culture boundaries and understand our connection with the cosmos. The virtual reality is so poignant, we created religions, politics, sports, different ways to cook foods, and so on and so forth. Each creation, it's so complexified that we believe that that is life. So we are confronted with the understanding of our mind. Can we listen our mind? Nature loves courage. Terence McKenna. Thank you for listening. See you next time.
Hello, I am human. We confuse signs, words, numbers, symbols, and ideas with the real world. Reality, it isn't material, that's just an idea. It isn't spiritual, that's also an idea, a symbol. Reality is this. Alan Watts. We have layers upon layers, boundaries that keep us from experience the reality. The culture shape us with emotions. Those emotions, we see them as real, but in fact, they are a human construction. We have a partial side in the reality. It's our point of view. The signs, words, numbers, symbols, and ideas are labels. It's how we can navigate with each other. They have the importance to guide us, but it's an interpretation of the reality. Therefore, it's not reality. So, when we realize that we can shape our reality free from the restraint of the emotions, and that we can think for ourselves, we try to connect to something because we look for who we really are. And then we came to see that when we try to conceptualize who we really are, we fall short because it escapes definition. The point is this: the Buddhist monk addresses the Buddhist abbot, and he says that the source of suffering comes from desire. So he meditates to stop desiring, only to realize that desiring not to desire, it's also desiring. We cannot stop. But reality evolves. Nothing stays the same and nothing lasts. The universe is an interaction between conservatism and novelty. And novelty is more and more prevalent. But this, you see, it's all an attempt to grasp reality, because the suffering comes from the desire to see reality. Reality comes to us by the felt presence of the immediate experience. Like Terence McKenna said, this is all you know. Everything else comes as unconfirmed rumor. The thinking monkey with an ego, looking to energy vibrate in a certain frequency. What we see as solid is in fact particles in a on and off. But the frequency is so high that we see it as solid. So we look to the solid and we believe that is solid. That's how we see the world. And what we see in nature, that life preserves life, and that life moves towards new ways of life. And they show up in water, land, and air. And us humans, we tend to preserve traditions till some technological breakthrough make us move deeper into our virtual reality. And novelty is increasing its wave, faster and faster away from the reality. And reality is this: energy, vibration, and frequency. Thank you for listening. See you next time.
Hello, I am human. In our state of being aware of our awareness, the process transcends the individual, giving him a clear vision of thoughts. And it's admirable, it's liberator, it's the thinking human observing our humanness. This is the felt presence of the immediate experience. It's seeing the eternal now. A high state of consciousness is one that is capable to equate the individual with the cosmos, because we came out to the world. We are the universe, presented in this form. We are the individual that resonate with the cosmos. And our life experiences, they gave us the understanding to control the emotions. We acknowledge that we manage the fear, and we open our eyes. One way is to be in a symbiotic relation with plants or fungus. The point is that we humans, we need more consciousness. We need to open our minds. We need to see what's in there. And what's in there, it's the abysms and all the experiences. And now we think. We change our conceptions as we have more experiences. Well, that's what we want, to change the mind, because there is so much to understand. That's what we need as individuals and as humankind. We need more consciousness. If we understand that love is the answer, if we understand that we should treat nature and each other with love, then we have to practice. We have to find our way of life, in such a way that we flow in life. Accept and act. Accept and act. Any culture is a kind of hallucination, a kind of limiting group assumption about reality. Terence McKenna. And reality, or what we understand as reality, is the ground where we think. So, what we perceive as reality has a huge impact on our ideas. To accept, we have to dissolve boundaries, the pre cooked notions about what is freedom and what we should do with our lives, that any religion or political tendency is trying always to sell us, is what we have to overcome. So we have space to explore thinking. We are not consumers, we are humans. And everything is acting. Everything is, in its harmonious place, acting. Like we as humans, we cannot stop acting. So we act. We are we conscious about our actions? Accept and act. We explore thinking, we give way to imagination, and we embrace madness. That will make us see the world, see the universe, the superior biological being standing, aware of his awareness, understanding. Thank you for listening. See you next time. Hello, I am human. In this audio text, I start by telling a story about this person who is full of mysteries and that he wants to find the answers. And as he was walking this road, he was talking to himself, talking his way out of the mysteries that was haunting him. Sometimes this was too much to bear, so he would find distractions. But soon enough, the curiosity would strike him till the core of his mind. He was compelled to look in the hearts of mankind. He was looking for the ideals, healthy mind in healthy body. He played the role of the citizen, the role that he wanted to follow. Still, after years and years, the mystery is still there. Only now he realizes that he is a different person. He realizes that life is telling him a story and that there are things that will be an answer. He now sees that the paths he chose led him to this place where he stands, aware of his awareness. He followed the road, but now he no longer talks to him. He just sees. This story is based in my original story, decades ago about this man that want to solve his problems. So he goes on a road trip, and when he ends the road, all his problems are solved. If I told you, please paint a picture of a person observing the moon, how would you do it? Do you put the person in the foreground and nature in the background? Or would you put the person in a city environment? Or you place the person surrounded by nature? How do you see yourself regarding the universe? The only thing you need to know to understand the deepest metaphysical secrets is this: that for every outside, there is an inside, and for every inside, there is an outside. And although they are different, they go together. Alan Watts. You see, this is the fundamental principle on how we see the world. What is outside of you? Is it something alien, something to be conquered? Or do we see the external world as part of us? As so as the sun has a myriad of rays, so the universe expresses itself in all of us and in everything. If we look to the flower and bees, we came to realize that there is no flowers without bees, and there is no bees without flowers. They are the same organism, although they are different. So they arise together. We humans, we came out to the world, to this interaction, interdependence, because the wiggling is depending on us as much as we are depending on wiggling. That's the Tao, the natural order of the universe, or the way. The fear comes from the feeling of separateness of us with the other. The ego creates the illusion of a boundary between our physical body and the cosmos. The ego is nothing other than the focus of conscious attention. Alan Watts. So, if we see the wiggly, we better dance. Thank you for listening. See you next time. Hello, I am human. The whole point in life is illusion, from the Latin ludere, to play. And although some of us look to life with reverence, seriousness, when in fact that way of seeing the world is a human fabrication. The mind projects the fears of the educated, programmed human. And we are all programmed with the language and the imagery of one's culture. The dissolving boundaries, they will give the individual a far more complex and interesting personality, because we will be deeply connected with and aware of our relationship to the whole cosmos. So the human understand that the universe is playing. We are notes of the big symphony in this universe, in this one verse. But we also have karma. We act. And so we claim life with intelligence, with calmness. When the boundaries go down, we see the uniqueness of each individual, and that each individual should claim his own individuality. What that means is, do not believe in ideology. No one knows what's going on. To seek enlightenment from another human being is like a grain of sand seeking enlightenment from another grain of sand. What that means is, don't follow. And I mean, don't follow anyone. No ideology, no gurus, no religion. What that means is, don't consume. Do not consume. Embrace the human experience with intelligence. And what that means is, don't watch. Don't watch, in the sense of not watching television or any other screen. It's where religion went to. And now we think we have a choice of what dictatorial light waves we want to follow. Don't watch means you reclaim the experience. The experience to make sense of the transcendental that is life. So, the universe, as we projected, we all want peace and love. And ultimately, we desire the eternal peacefulness and loveness. Now, when we look at nature, we see competition, but also cooperation. And now, the transcendental human, the mature, intelligent, conscious, loving of his humanness, will see. And what will he see? What is our attractor? Well, it's love. And love is play. And now, as I'm about to conclude the text, I see the different person I became. It was a notable transformative experience. And I see my breath. I see the wind. Not because the leaves dance or the air is cold. I see because it's there. I understand the loveliness. I see the plasma lights. They go up, staying in the same place. Eternity in a frame. Void is form. Form is void. Thank you for listening. See you next time.